Alright guys, seems like we are ready and set up for KillerChair running one step from Eden. Take it away.
Hello everybody. Welcome to a Dutchman opening for a UK speedrunning event. Wonderful times. I'll be playing this game. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll be playing Selicy, the invade style, normal game mode, and we're not gonna enter any seed as that is the category. There's all these characters you can play who are also bosses in the game. You'll see. We'll get started as soon as I've given the actual countdown to get started. So let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you. Alright, so this is One Step from Eden, a very hectic Mega Man Battle Network-esque game. But I like to call it a menuing game, because boy are there a lot of very small menus to go over. Right here I select the focus tree. The focus tree makes sure that the spells that drop, as it is also a deck builder game. Let's have him move. Alright, he doesn't want to move. That's fair enough. The focus tree makes sure that you have a bigger chance of getting spells in a specific category of spells. There's all these spell trees and such that you can be getting. And while it is a deck builder, since the base spell Crossfire that you'll be seeing me use a lot is just so absurdly strong, all we do is remove spells and look for one specific spell to use, namely the thing that makes Crossfire even better, which is a copying spell. So essentially we'll be jumping on top of enemies and spamming the Crossfire spell with preferably no other spells in our deck. So we're gonna try and upgrade the Crossfire. I need to remove the Frostbite as well. We're not getting a good upgrade right away, so we're just gonna try it again. And we got a chance to hit twice. Perfect. So we'll just move on towards, soon enough, the first boss. Every single boss in the game, or at least the main bosses, the non-final boss, is also a playable character, which makes it very fun and interesting to see whatever bosses you're getting, and knowing that if you're playing through the game that you'll be unlocking all these characters. And it's just wonderful. This boss is one of the easier ones. We just beat her, and we'll be moving on to another zone. I'm trying to focus on getting specific bosses out of the way early, since bosses also, after you beat them and decide to save them, to keep them alive, they'll be hopping into the battle to do assist moves of sorts. Now you see that grid that I just went over? That grid is essentially sort of a map of types of fights and other things that you will be encountering. There's hostages that you can save to go for, there's hazard fights, there's midi-boss fights, all kinds of things. I essentially try to focus on going for the shop tiles to buy spells if the spell that we want is there, and to buy upgrades and other little bits. And on top of that, the shop also has other things to offer. Now there's all kinds of enemies doing crazy things loosely tied to the boss at the end of the zone we're going for. And so you'll sort of see a weird variety of enemies that are vaguely similar mechanic-wise or thematic-wise or something or other. And that's all good and well. So we're gonna get a removal, gonna get an upgrade, remove the Frostbite, not enough for a second upgrade, move on. And this is exactly why I mean that this game is a menuing game. There's just so much to look out for, so much to go over. There we go. I would have hoped to have this guy as the last one. So there's a couple of different zones that you can go to, and each zone appears twice. I wanted the other boss of this zone to appear. This also makes it so that the selection of what you get, yeah, like you have 2 volcano zones, for instance, and there's a 50-50 chance you'll be getting the one boss or the other boss. Gotta skip that first. So you've noticed just the amount of menus that I'm constantly having to go through in the spell selection, the leveling up artifacts being passive things that you get through the leveling up. So there's just a lot of menus, very short fights, and all that good fun stuff. Now you might be wondering, hey, why specifically are you playing this character? And that is in part because, well, the character is great, and she also has a cat costume that you can play as. There's a variety of costumes you can pick for each character. But more so, the reason that I opted to start playing as Selicy is because she is also, to me at least, the more difficult fight in the game, the more difficult boss. So I figured, hey, what's better for me than to do? Well, to not have to fight the boss by playing the boss. So that's a very nice way of picking the game. So if you're looking to pick up this game as a speed game and you're like, oh man, that one boss, I just can't get a good fight on the boss, then, well, maybe try and learn to play the game as that boss. Now, a few things here. For one, this boss is the one that in the neutral category we decide to kill, as her assist is like the least useful one. So here you get to see me execute one of the bosses at times. F's in chat. Let's see what we get out of this stuff. Nothing great. We're just gonna keep going. A free removal though is just fine. So we're now, yeah, one of the things that I got earlier on the upgrade is Double Fire, which now makes the Crossfire spell cast twice. And I haven't really explained why the Crossfire specifically is as good as it is. For one, it is a spell that just deals a good chunk of damage, but for two, you can see that it sort of shoots in 2 different directions in a cross pattern from the place you are at. Well, funny thing about it is that when using it, it uses like both directions as a damage value. So when you're using it right on top of an enemy, it deals that number of damage twice. So currently I'm dealing the total amount of damage, which is I believe 130 or something, twice when on top of the enemy, and because of the Double Fire upgrade, it becomes 4 times, making it an absurdly powerful spell with just those little upgrades. So let's see, towards the shop. Now, other things that I looked for upgrades are an upgrade that says 25% chance to hit twice, or hitting enemy with the spell gives fragile. Let's see, oh, it's a free thing, might be useful. So let's see if we get a good one, or so. Yeah, chance to hit twice, beautiful. We're not getting the fragile, sadly, then. But at least we get the chance to hit twice quite nicely. But fragile essentially makes you deal 150%, like 1.5 times damage. There you go, got there eventually. And 1.5 times damage on top of, well, all of those numbers happening really adds up and packs a ridiculous punch. So that's another reason why this character is just very fun to play. Now that little enemy is a little annoying. So as we have fought Terra before in this zone, we're coming up on one of my favorite characters, the first character that I ever beat the game with, which is Riva. She's just a delight. Shield character, cute look, and everybody loves her. Fights to protect, all that good, wholesome stuff. So you see all the assists sort of coming into effect here with just wild things happening right at the start of the fights. One of the recent artifacts that I picked up on the top of the screen, you can see that. It's a little tutu with spikes around the edge. That is an artifact that I really like, as it deals 100 damage around you every time you shuffle. And of course, since we only have 2 spells in our deck currently, we're shuffling a lot. Not that shuffling matters too much when you only have 2 spells and you'll be using them basically at the same time. We're getting nothing useful here, too bad. But hey, extra 100 damage unnecessarily, almost unnecessarily, is still quite nice. Now these little pegs here are money, little blobs, so that 2 is fantastic for shops. There we go, apply fragile to the enemy at the start of a battle. So a lot of time save and loss in this game comes from just menuing better. So a lot of runs have died over standing still too long and menuing for too long. As you saw, here's Wholesome Riva. We're saving her, she's great. But boss fights at this point, because of the double fire and the chance to hit twice, are just over before you can even blink. Now the best thing is if you have chance to hit twice, fragile, and double fire, because that just deletes everything so fast. There we go. Fun little side note about this game is that it is mostly made by one guy as a passion project. I believe he has had assistants over the course of time, but it's just wonderful to see such a beautiful game come to life, with lots of well-designed, cool and cute characters, and there we go. That's a beautiful hit. 3 at the same time there, right from the middle. But yeah, this game is just beautiful. There's so much you can do with all these characters. There we go. There's Echo. Beautiful. Then we can get rid of Zenith, upgrade Echo. Let's see, restore mana cost, as we don't have too much. Don't think I need too much else, so we're just gonna keep going. So now we're gonna go absolutely haywire with just making crossfires appear everywhere. Too bad that little box duration timed out. So now we're basically using that many attacks thing while also copying the many attacks thing with all the upgrades that come with it. This guy's a little bit of a pain as he makes us. This is one of my other least favorite fights to do, but there we go, stomped right on top of him. Fight's done, moving on, let's go. So we're coming up on the final few bosses. This is the second, the last zone, and right after that boss, the final boss will happening. So we're doing all right, doing pretty all right. Let's see. Gonna get this out of the way. Don't think we need any more upgrades, so if we hop on over to the shop tile... Ooh, that's a very nice artifact. We're hopping on over to the shop tile, we can just instantly skip it, and just skip an entire transition, basically. Not having to do anything there. So the artifact I just got is damage on contact. Now what does damage on contact mean? Well, simply, whenever you touch an enemy, will deal 40 damage. It's not a lot, but since we're constantly hopping on top of enemies anyway with Selicy, it becomes ridiculously good, because we can just sort of keep dealing damage by moving in and out of their hitboxes as well, if we like. Which comes in handy at the final boss, since the final boss is the Wall of Eden, which is basically the entire backline of the fight. So, there we go, getting rid of that. Now, when we are at the final boss, I will ask the people to be ready on time, as right after the fight there's a little bit that happens, and then we'll be having time. Essentially, when the wall is down, there's a tiny cutscene where a big ol' boss appears with a ridiculous amount of health. and that character will be one-shotting us, and as soon as our health reaches 0, that's time. So yeah, this is the Wall of Eden. We're basically hopping onto it, using the contact damage, spamming the spell, making a ridiculous amount of numbers appear, overlap a lot because the UI doesn't know how to keep up with that many numbers. That's the final boss down. Time will be coming up very soon. Here we have this big ol' absolutely tanky boss, and time is now. There we go. That'll be it. That. Actually forgot to time the last one, but that's fine. Hey, that is it. Let me just do that, and then... yeah. So, thanks for watching, everybody. That was One Step from Eden. I hope I made enough sense over all the mayhem and chaos that happens. I hope you got a little bit out of that in terms of all of the little bits of menuing that happens. This game is super fun. Seriously, give it a try. It's not expensive.
It looks like it. It really looks fun. It was the first thing I wrote after like half a minute in. I was like, I want to play this game now.
Yeah, this is super good.
It's amazing. And to end up your run, we have a huge $80 donation from Tiny Tim going, hey all, had to donate to get this UKSG weekend off of the bank. It's such a pleasure to be involved with these events and to work with so many amazing people. Let's see how much we can raise for Crisis. Good on the run, KillerChair. Cheers. And this one is going to the Gar Shop, the Monster Slayer any % incentive, which will be, we will see another game, which is the sequel, Gar Shop Temple of the Dragon. So we are $80 closer to that one. Keep it going, guys. It's for a really good cause.
Excellent. Awesome. Yeah, so final notes. Thanks for UKSG for letting me open this event. This is the first time I've done an event outside of the BSG events, so this is also great. And
it was amazing.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I had a blast doing this for y'all.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing off this amazing game. And I could follow, so if I can follow, I assume 90% of the people can follow.
There you go.
All right, so I'll assume if you don't have anything else to say anymore.
No, that's about it.
Okay, so we'll be kicking off into a short intermission to set up of our next runner, which will be Mr. Bushu running Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, NST. So, see you in a bit.
Sunlight is not enough.